This tutorial explains the more advanced grading features in Jupyter. Most of the settings in this tutorial are available on the Grades Assignment screen. The Input As menu defines how assignment grades are calculated in Jupyter. The top 3 options are covered in the Assignments tutorial. Let's start with extra credit. The most common method to add extra credit is to input assignments as extra credit points, which is in effect an assignment out of 0 points possible. Any points entered are added to their grades. Blank or 0 do not hurt their grades. This is only available if you are using percents as your grade scale. If you're using categories, you can provide extra credit points in a single category, such as 5 extra points in homework. You can also define a separate category for extra credit, but if you do so, make sure that on the Setup Grading screen, in the Categories column, you have Unweighted selected. You can then add the extra credit category below. Selecting Weighted and creating an extra credit category will make it mathematically impossible to add extra credit. Another way to add points is to include it in a specific assignment. For example, on a test, a student got 42 questions correct, plus 3 bonus questions. That's exactly how the student sees their score, as 42 plus 3. You can also use this to show late penalties by subtracting points, like this. There are 2 ways to change a student's total grade. The first is to create an assignment and change the Input As menu to Adjust Percents. Then enter how many percents to raise or lower a student's grade. This is only available if using percentage-based grade scales. To override the grade, go to the Grades Report Card screen. You can click any cell to type in the student's grade. You can type any grade, even if it is not on the regular grade scale. Whatever is entered here will be displayed exactly on the report card, and if the override grade replaces the calculated one, you'll see that displayed in gray text below. When creating an assignment, you can select Input As Information Only from the Input As menu to create an assignment that does not affect students' grades. This can be used for information or other purposes. You can penalize students by entering, in effect, negative extra credit. It's common in PE classes where students start with full credit and then lose points for not suiting up or participating. Let's see how to set this up. To apply penalties, first create a regular assignment where everyone receives full credit. Then, each week, create an extra credit assignment and however many points a student lost that week. You can optionally add dates as comments. Quick scores are a shortcut to enter scores just by clicking instead of typing. To customize your own set of scores, select the menu and choose Custom. Let's say for a daily homework, everyone starts with a 100. Enter that as the default. Then if you click again, the score will change to 85, again to 60, and then again to 0. Click Save. The default score will be applied to every student's score, and you can simply click a score to rotate through each of the scores. Repeat the process for each student. This is especially useful for tablets, phones, and other touchscreen devices. When creating an assignment, unchecking Show on Reports and Online makes the assignment invisible to students. As an example, you can hide assignments which you have created but have not given to students yet, such as an upcoming pop quiz. If you have an assignment which is not on Reports or Online, but which you have entered grades, such as a project which you are grading over a period of time, make sure to set the worth field to 0. So it does not impact students' grades. When grading is complete, you can set it online and then apply the appropriate number of points in this field. The checkbox for Curve Scores lets you adjust or curve the scores on a specific assignment. So, for this project, you could curve it so that 97 is equal to 100%. This option lets you specify that, for example, a 65 is equal to a D-. You can use one or both options as percents or points. It doesn't change the actual raw score you or the student see, but it does affect how the grade is calculated. This is only available for percent-based grade scales. The checkbox for Independent Study is for assignments that apply to only one or a subset of the students in the class. Only students with scores or comments will see the assignment, and for any students left blank, it will not affect their grade or be visible to them. You can automatically drop low scores by going to Grades, Drop Low Scores. It's only available if you're using categories. You can drop any number of low scores from any category, and it will update continually based on grades entered. Jupyter automatically keeps backups of any changes made to assignments. Go to the Grades, Backups screen. You can select any assignment to see a history of all score changes made. Click any older score and you can restore it. You can also choose to restore all scores for this assignment as of the time in which this particular score was entered. You can click any student to see a history of all changes made to their scores. You can hover your mouse over any date to display a timestamp of exactly when that score was entered. This is especially useful if you suspect someone accessed your account. You can then restore any changes that they made. Graphs of scores are located in several places. On the Grades Assignment screen, the graph shows the distribution of grades in the class on the assignment, as well as the mean, range, and count. This graph doesn't include blank, missing, or special marks, only actual scores. If you have multiple sections of the same course, the data for both classes will be combined in this graph. On the dashboard screen, you can see a graph with the distribution of the overall grades in the class. Hover your mouse over any column to see the number of students with each grade. On the Grade Student screen, you may see this graph for Impact on Grade. This shows how much each assignment raises and lowers the grade. The numbers are relative to the current grade. It's only available if your grade scale uses percents. Note that any drop scores will be displayed here. You can define whether or not students see this on the Setup Grading screen. The What If button allows you to show how a student's grade would change if they turned in missing work or retook a quiz or test. First, change one or more grades to a hypothetical one. Then click What If. Note their score below is now displayed as grade would be. It's not the actual grade, but is based on the calculation of the hypothetical grades entered. This is not saved unless you click Save here. You can click Revert to revert back to the actual grades. The link Hide Class Grades and Comments hides all other students' grades and comments, so you can safely show the screen to students when you are conferencing with them individually.